Hey guys, it's been a long time since we've updated you on the retirement community. A lot that has to do with him. Sorry about that. All right, so here's what's happening. You don't know about the retirement community. We'll be telling you about that a little bit later to update you. But okay, here's what's going on. Johnny called us last week. He has a serious surprise. Now, we know it's a good surprise, but we don't know what the surprise is about the update on the retirement community. It's such a big surprise, we had to leave our house in La Fortuna. We're driving all the way to Cartago, which is like 4.5 hours away, which is, if you've been following, the retirement communities in La Fortuna. So this better be a huge, big surprise, or we're going... D'Angelo will be very mad too. Trust me. So we're on our way to Cartago. I'm going to sign off and we'll catch you there, and then we'll see what this big surprise is. And if it's not a big surprise, somebody is in big trouble. See you in a bit. All right, guys, 4.5 hours. We made it to Cartago. Okay, I gotta be serious. It's not a surprise really anymore, because I kind of knew. I figured it out. Well, you've got to figure out we're going somewhere. Yeah, true. And this is a good surprise. I can't wait to show everybody. But now, people haven't seen the other videos. Let's real quick. Johnny and the people he works with is starting a retirement assisted living residential area in La Fortuna. 260 houses, right? Yeah. And the reason we haven't updated a video in a while, because nothing's been going on, because it's all been behind the scenes with paperwork. Costa Rica. Yeah, now let's catch up with that a little bit. Where are we with the paperwork, the environmental testing, and all the water stuff and all that? We're done with that. We're done with that. We're waiting for the actual document. You realize that you said we were going to see bulldozers like 3 years ago, right? Well, you remember saying that? Yeah, no, I said it. I said it. That's why I'm here, to show what's been done behind the scenes. It's not just about putting up a pretty website or models or things that way. It's actually producing things that matter, because we're supposed to take care of everybody. So so what is the expectation on like bulldozers? Starting to cut the this month. This month, Mike. But I'm going to show you what we have. I know. I feel the same way. You know, we've heard this before. No, you always blame me. But you know what? It's easy to put somebody else. But now that I have permits, now we can focus on these other things. That was important. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, those videos, if we would have done lawyering and all that paperwork. Yeah, stuff. All right. So everybody does that. So I'm excited about showing them what we're going to show them. But I know, because we've been doing this a long time, it's probably going to create more questions and answers. So we're going to have how to get a hold of Johnny if you're interested in his in this project, or you want to make deposits, or you want to see blueprints or all of that stuff. I'll have the link to get a hold of Johnny in the description. All right, so let's go show him. Let's do it. So guys, I was right. We're going to be seeing houses. Now, right? These are some of the houses that are going to be going into the community. The community part, quality, not just houses. All right, we're talking to Antonio. This is his building. So we're going to be asking him questions about the houses. Let's go. All right, so what are we looking at? What is this? This is a pretty big warehouse.
Yeah, so this is our idea of business. This is our modular houses warehouse. We build houses, complete houses here in the warehouse, and we transport them wherever in the country. The beach, San Carlos, Limon, every part of the country we work with, but we center all the work here in Cartago, and we do everything here.
Okay, so if nobody heard what we just kind of said, what is the difference between prefab and these are modulars? So what's the difference? Well, there's really no similarity, right?
No, it's 100% different things. Prefab houses, you do it on site. It's very thin wall, 5 centimeter walls. You can do beautiful houses, beautiful designs, but the quality is not the same thing as a normal cement house. And modular houses is like building a Lego. You have different parts of the same house in in the warehouse, and at the end of the day you stick them all together and you have a beautiful big house that you can build in Cartago, but you can transport it everywhere in the country.
So we were talking a little bit about that, because I had my reservations about these houses when we first kind of, came in here. But so you say a lot of these houses end up down by the beach.
That's
well,
right,
the beaches are known for, it can be a lot of rain, it can be hot sun, it can be humidity. How do these houses stand in that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 98% of our clients, they're not from here. They're not from Costa Rica. They're American, Europeans, Canadians. So all the houses that we do, well, most of the houses that we do, they go to the beaches. So all the thought that is into these houses, all the materials, all the things that we use for these houses, are thought for those extreme climates that we have here in Costa Rica. There are the beaches that you have sunny mornings, and then in the afternoon you have rains like you have never seen before. So
right. We all know what mold does down here.
We don't have problems with mold because we use a special wall covering that we brought from Germany. The walls they have special covering for the humidity, salt water, all that stuff that we have on the coast here in Costa Rica, but we don't have any problem with those houses. We build the same quality house as a normal cement house, but here in Cartago, in a controlled space, with control time, control workers, so we don't have any trouble with that.
So no excuses, Mike.
Yeah, right.
No excuses.
So what's the main reason people are picking this type of house? What are some of the advantages of getting something built by yourself, or buying a pre-existing, or who's buying these houses and why?
Well, there's two main reasons why people are going with us. The main reason is timing. We build big houses in 100% quality, great quality materials that we use in half the time that a normal construction does it. So that's the main reason that people are going with us. And the second reason is the headache that is building here in Costa Rica, because you have the permits, you have all the paperwork that you have to do with the municipalities, with the college that it needs to approve the permits, finding an engineer to sign all the drawings, all that kind of stuff that is a headache for someone that is not from here and doesn't speak the language. So that's the main reason, the two main reasons people are going with us.
Yeah, we have those videos. If you don't know what you're doing down here when it comes to building, or you don't hire the right people, or you have don't know anything about construction, you can be in trouble very fast here.
Yeah.
So on the timing thing, so if you say 3 months, it's 3 months, or if it's 1 month or whatever it is.
That's right. Yeah, we try to be responsible with our clients. The idea with the houses is the speed. So if we say 3 months, it's going to be 3 months.
What is like a time frame? If I was to go, I want this house.
Normally the houses are going 4.5 months. The big houses, the small houses this is a half of one house, a small house. Mm-hmm. It can be up to 10 to 12 weeks.
All right, real quick, how many houses we can walk to, how many houses are gonna be in this?
The first phase, there's going to be 26 houses. 26 houses. And then there's a line that's going to be 14 other houses. And then along with apartment buildings, but it's separate from this.
And there's going to be a total of how many?
In total, when we're done, there's going to be 240.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble. His mic is good, but really so good. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. So there's how many different models?
There's going to be 7 different models. We're going to start with 3.
And what's the square footage on obviously they're going to be different. So what's the square footage?
There's a 1-bedroom, there's a 2-bedroom, and there's a 3-bedroom. We work in Costa Rica's work in meters. So the first house was
44.
44. The second one is 88. And the third one was
122. But we have different.
And how big are the lots?
The lots are
a couple different sizes, right?
They start at 400 to 700 meters.
Let's go. Can we go in?
Yeah, of course.
What's the bones of these homes made out of? The bones of the homes, like what's the main material? It's steel?
It's steel. We use steel for the structure of the house, and then the walls, the floors, and the ceilings are made of a material that it's called SIP panel.
It's called what?
SIP panel, structurally insulated panel. So it's a special material that the walls itself are part of the structure of the house. So it's pretty safe for earthquakes here in Costa Rica. We're an earthquake country, so we're pretty safe with earthquakes and all that stuff that you have here in the country. So that's the main two materials that we use for the houses: steel and the SIP panel that you have for the walls.
I like that nothing's touching the ground, right?
That's right, yeah.
It's going to be on stilts, right?
It's going to be on stilts, different heights, different needs on the clients. That's because of humidity. We are a rainy country in Costa Rica. Half of the year it rains here, and it rains a lot. So it's trying to make a solution to that problem that can be humidity for the floorings and the walls and the stuff, so the houses never touch the ground.
So, what's the life expectancy of these houses?
The same life expectancy as a normal cement house, 100 years. We have the same warranty as a normal house. The ones that.
So there's no cutting corners. This is not a cutting corner thing, like trying to do things cheaper. These can actually be. It sounds like they're the same amount that any house would be.
You're right. Yeah. The idea is not to cut corners here in the warehouse. We try to build beautiful houses with beautiful materials and great quality materials. So the idea is not to build cheap houses in a fast production line. The idea is to build beautiful houses with great materials in a record-breaking time, but at the end of the day, you have a product that is the same thing as a normal construction that you can do here in the country.
You know, I think it's interesting. If they don't like your community, they can move the house.
They can go.
They can move the house down to the beach.
Yep, they can move the house, and it's part of the contract. It's written in, it's safeguards, because we want you to be happy, and if you're not happy, or if the sun comes out too much, or the sun doesn't come out enough, you have the right, because it's your house.
That's cool. I think that's cool.
And nobody here, and most people in Costa Rica, can't provide the same thing. We're giving you an option. You know what? Come here, enjoy if you decide, or maybe you're a single man and you come into Costa Rica and you found some beautiful tica in the beach and you want to move down there, take the house.
I also like the idea that everything's spec'd out. Everything is right. You don't have to worry about anything. Later, somebody coming back and go, oh, you did this wrong, or tight. You know, everything is ready to kind of go.
You don't have to cut corners to be efficient. This is efficiency.
Some people kind of put those together, though. That's the problem.
They try to put it together, but we did our homework when we found this company to be able to do it right. And we're not cutting any corners. This is going to be done right. And there's no excuses. The construction doesn't stop. So when you get a date, that's what the date is.
And we got Antonio on video now. They know what he looks like.
Hey, this is a guy you go to if it's not on time.
We're going to give him his email address.
Yep. I'll give him his phone number.
So can you so it comes with everything. It doesn't come like with sofas and refrigerators.
Yeah, we can offer those services as well. We can furnish the house 100% with all the appliances, sofas, beds.
But typically
it comes with closets, kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, countertops.
Real closets, Mike. Real closets, not just little wire there that hangs and puts your stuff in there.
It's not the Tico closet?
No.
It's a real closet?
Yeah, well, as you can see, this one is a closet.
It is a real closet.
This one is a real closet. As you can see, in the big houses, we have walk-in closets as well for the master bedrooms.
Now, can you upgrade the material used, like in the cabinets in the kitchen?
Yeah, we can use wood. We can use MDF. That is another material that we use for the
obviously
cabinets.
Upgrades, right?
Yes,
yeah.
upgrades.
What would just be maybe a few other upgrades? I don't know if you know
the key thing is it's not just about upgrades. It's the material that you use inside the house, that it's adequate for the environment. So there's materials that called melamine. I can't even say that in English. It's a material that's used so it drops the humidity, so you don't get into mold and things. Same thing with wood. You apply things so it's done right.
All right.
Let's walk through the house, Mike.
What's the floor?
This one is
what is this?
teak floor, real wood.
Real teak?
Real teak, yeah.
Dang, teak's expensive.
Real teak, yeah.
No,
And
for real, isn't it expensive?
yeah. And this is included on the price as well.
You guys keep surprising me. I was kind of going with the prefab thing, and I was going to be disappointed. So I'm kind of happy.
No, this
I
is,
got to make it up for all this time you've been waiting.
these ones are real houses.
Wow, check out the bathroom, nice size.
Yeah, everything that we build here in the warehouse, we transport 100%, well, 98% done to site. So it comes with the showers, tiles, shower doors, everything that you need for the house to work. You have it already.
Yeah,
here.
so this, because when they used to make those little kit cabins, they used to bring the cabin, but it was like you had to do everything, like electrical and water. So all that is, we're good with all that, right?
We're all good with that. What happens is that they come in, and Antonio can correct me, it's done within 3 to 4 days from the time that they land on the lot, your house is up.
That's right, yeah. In 1 or 2 days, you have the house up and running, and then the final details, it could take, depending on the size of the house, another 2 or 3 days. The big house is 4 or 5 days, but it's pretty fast.
What is needed before you arrive with the house?
We do everything.
Foundation and everything's got to be done.
All that's done.
We take care of
That's done
plumbing,
for-
foundation as well. The houses, as we said, are on stilts. We made the stilts as well here in Cartago, so we transport the stilts all the way to the
So
site.
you're every piece of the puzzle. So nobody else is involved, which I actually like that.
We're the
because-
only company involved in
Because
the
when other
process.
people
Yeah.
involved, it screws things up.
That's right. That's right. We are the only company involved in the process. So if we're the ones we're gonna deliver the house, we're the ones installing the house, we're the ones putting up the house on site. So that reduces the trouble with some people.
Yeah, it's kind of like you being in the process. We need to get you out of the process. So how big are the? Okay, I'm sorry, 2 and 3 bedrooms? Or 1, 2, and 3
1,
bedrooms?
2, and 3 bedrooms.
Okay. What would this be? Is this?
Yeah, this one is a 2-story house.
There won't be 2 stories there, will there be?
There can be.
Oh, so it's possible.
It's possible, yes.
My house will be, but I don't know about the others.
We'll be your neighbors.
What were your names?
Wow, this is so cool. So what are the highlights? It's on stilts. It's done fairly quickly. It's from A to Z. The same company's doing everything. Everything time is guaranteed. You can upgrade if you want. There's 7 different floor plans. Why do we need you again?
Nothing. You don't need me for
It's
nothing.
me and Antonio now.
You know, Antonio, maybe you can talk about the gauge of the metal that you guys use here for the building, and that people can understand what that is.
Yeah,
You
we
mean like the walls?
The walls, the structure itself, because sometimes people shortcut when they're building in steel, and they build less than thick steel.
Well, yeah,
nice.
we actually use a very thick steel because, as I told you guys, 95% of our houses are on the beach, so we need to have big steel structures to sustain the house and don't have any trouble with sea winds and all that stuff that we have on the coast. So everything that we use is think and thought for those climates, as well as the ceilings that we use. They're special for those kind of weathers and sustain those kind of rains. So everything that we use, it's already proven in those kind of climates.
So that's the insulation right in between the walls.
Yeah, that's another advantage of the houses here in Costa Rica. You don't have insulation here in Costa Rica because we are a tropical country. We don't need it, but in some places it gets pretty hot. So all the house is insulated because of the same material that we use for the walls. The seal panel comes with insulation, as the name says, and the ceiling as well. We use heat insulation for the ceilings as well, so we can
So
install.
the ceilings are insulated as
yeah,
well.
the ceilings are insulated as well.
What's the roof?
It's made of metal as well. It's a special metal used for roofs. It's not the zinc.
It's not that green.
Yeah, it's not the green or the red zincs that you
Do
see
have
on the
is there
houses.
a roof here we can look at or no?
Yeah, of course.
I think we can. Yeah, we can see.
It's not here. It's not here. It's not.
I think we have a couple of houses with the roofs already.
Before you leave the kitchen area, everything is even.
Well,
We'll
no,
talk about it here.
the electrical, it's done.
Yeah, we take care of everything. The electrical part, everything is tested here in the warehouse. The plumbing, the electrical part of the house. We make sure that all the lights turn on, the outlets work. Everything that you need for the house to work, we test it here first in in the warehouse, and once the houses arrive to the site as well, we make another test, of course, that everything works and it's gonna.
I really like this one-stop thing. The people don't live here. They don't really know the problems that having 73 people involved in your house what it does.
It's kind of like playing roulette.
Architects arguing with the contractors. Contractors argue with this. The laborers took a stack of wood. You know what I mean?
When it rains, people doesn't work, and it's a hot day. They don't work as well because of the sun. So it's pretty tricky to work with. Here we have a controlled environment. When it rains, it doesn't rain here inside the warehouse. When it's pretty hot, we don't have any heat.
That's another key thing. People don't understand when they're building in Costa Rica, they're trying to do their own house, that the weather, there might be months you can't do anything. Literally months on rainy season.
Yeah.
You guys can do this all year round
all year
and get
round,
that
yeah.
house out.
All year round we
I'm
can
getting
work.
more excited. I was a little sketchy for a second when we first walked in, I gotta say. I was a little worried.
Well, you know what?
Johnny, you're not disappointing.
That's why we're here to show in person what it is. It's not just about a talk. It's not just a plan that we're talking about. It's not just a little, here's a picture of what it looks like.
This is happening.
This is happening.
Finally, it's been a while. I'm so glad to do this update. This was a very good surprise. Antonio, thank you for the
Thank you guys for being here.
This is going to generate more questions. I guarantee it always does. We probably missed 17 things we could have talked about. But can we see a roof?
Yeah. Let me check if we have some houses with roof over here. Well, we can see the roof structure because we don't. In that house, we have it unassembled, but we can see the roof structure is.
Maybe we could talk about how when it's transported on the truck, how we get it to place. This is the way it's.
Well, that's a house right there, right?
We can see. Well, we can check the full house, and you can see the size of the house. Maybe I can show you a blueprint of the house. So
shows what? I'm sorry.
The blueprint of the house, so you can check how the house will look like and how the house looks before the transportation is done.
So Mike, this right here is a house that's completed, getting ready for shipment.
Yeah, this is a 155 square meter house, all in pieces, 13 pieces. It's ready to deliver. We're gonna deliver this one this week. It's going to the Pacific, the South Pacific coast of Costa Rica. And this is how we wrap the houses, and we put it up in the truck and off he goes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting excited. I gotta say, it's been a while.
Antonio, why did you guys start this house over here?
Well, this house we started the first week of January, so a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yesterday we didn't have any walls in the house. Right now we have 100% of the walls done.
This is a 3-bedroom house, right?
This is a 3-bedroom house, 122 square meters with an outdoor deck. Yeah, so the process is pretty fast. And fast doesn't mean that we run and we make sure that things are.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't cut corners because you are everybody. Because if you cut corners, you're only messing it up for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't rush. We take care of everything, and we try to make everything with the best quality that we can.
Where did this concept come from?
Well, my boss, he's been an entrepreneur all his life.
Oh, so this is like an original.
Yeah. We're the only company in Costa Rica that's working with these kind of houses in these kind of materials, because there's some other companies that are working with prefab and or shipping containers that it's pretty famous here in Costa Rica in the past years. But in this concept, we're the only ones in the country.
Yeah, we have quite.
Do you know that a shipping container, the lifespan of a shipping container is?
I did an interview with a guy that sells shipping containers, and I did ask him that, and I can't remember what he said.
It's 25 years.
And you gotta, shipping containers, there's a lot more to shipping containers than they like to tell you.
Yeah.
The roof needs a roof, and there needs to be insulation. There needs to be coating. There needs to be a lot.
And to cut the holes for the walls and for the windows and for the doors, and that's expensive.
It's not to say that things aren't good and you can't build stuff. It's just to say that when you're doing an investment of what you're doing with these houses, You want it to last. You want to give it to your kids. This is a house that you can leave to your kids.
Well, if it lasts 100 years, I
Yeah.
definitely will be dead before that. So
yeah.
that's good. No, you know, the thing for me being older, you know what I like? This is probably the fourth time I said this. I like, it's quick, it's them doing everything. If I have an issue, it's going to be just talking to.
Yeah.
I really like that. I don't know. It's just to me. Back in the day, I might have been wanting to be more involved. I just want to go like this. I want that house. Bring
That's
it to
the
me.
idea.
Make
That's
it
the idea.
happen.
That's basically the idea of the company.
All right, so I think we're good. We're good until next time. Anyway, Antonio, thank you very much.
Thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, and we're going to have we're able to get a hold of you for more if they have questions. And you are going to have a website soon. Is that true?
Yes.
So they can kind of.
Yeah, the website's coming. The reason we focused on permits, we focused on how everything was built, making sure it's quality. Now we can do with the commercial side of getting things so you can see it, touch it, and
Bulldozer in 1 month.
bulldozer 1 month.
I can't wait to learn it. All right, guys, I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. This is Johnny. This is Antonio. D'Angelo, do your little P. Is it on you? All right, ciao. Peace. That's it. Thanks. Appreciate it.